Good, everybody. Sherman Webb-Middlebrooks, the lifelong Buffalo resident and full-time Black man, back at you with another episode of Igniting Hope Radio, sponsored by the Buffalo Center for Health Equity, where we are doing everything that we can to have these conversations with folks in the community doing the work. We are a platform for people who are out here doing the work, and today we want to give a platform to some folks who are doing tremendous work in the community that is going unnoticed. So we want to shed some light on our guests and the work that they are doing to help our individuals who are maybe experiencing homelessness, right? Okay. All right, so they have an event that is coming up on September 19th. It is the 17th annual event. So tell me about this event. What's the event name and how has it been going on for 17 years? Oh, I'm sorry. Introduce yourself to the people and tell them where they can find you and follow you on social media if you do the social medias.
Sure. I'm Will Marcy from Kenmore Alliance Church's Shelterless Ministry, and you'll just find me everywhere. I don't know.
You'll find Will anywhere and everywhere helping our homeless. I'm Jeni Arroyo, and I am the advocacy chair for the West New York Coalition for the Homeless, as well as the Rapid Rehousing Director at Salvation Army Buffalo. You can just type in Jeni Arroyo and find me anywhere, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the things.
Yes, you will find that friendly face wherever you search her up. So we appreciate y'all really utilizing our platform to kind of talk about this event. I think some of the work that I've been doing recently, shout out to my boy Scotty P, we do a monthly bingo night on the third Tuesday of the month at the City Mission. We serve the fellas dinner. Nice. And then we have we call it lit bingo. It's just an excuse for me to be loud and talk crazy with the fellas. And different agencies, organizations, and individuals usually donate gift cards. And so those are the prizes that we give out to the fellas. So in doing that work and having some family members who have experienced homelessness, and like I said, doing that work at the mission, going on about a year now, it kind of opened up my eyes to the different ways individuals become homeless, and also the different and unique needs that some of our brothers and sisters who are experiencing homelessness have, that might be unconventional or that systems or society might not prioritize, but to them it's a priority. So enough of me talking. Tell me a little bit about this event and why folks should come out and support what y'all do.
Sure. So it's Project Homeless Connect, the 17th year. They pilfered the idea from the West Coast. Okay. And homeless or at risk of homeless, anybody can come and meet with over 100 different service providers. So you're going to have a lot of trouble accessing healthcare. There'll be a lot of medical providers there doing HIV tests. Catholic Health will be there. They're going to be helping people with mobility issues. There's Erie County Harm Reduction will be there to help people with that. So the actually Buffalo Erie County is in the top of the nation for taking care of their people.
Really?
We hit all the metrics. Everybody's known by name. In years prior, maybe 10 years ago, 800 people would attend, and most of those guys had some sort of diagnosis, and they'd been out for a year to 10, 12 years to 27 years. And over time, the agencies working together, we just ad hoc work together, call each other up. Can you help me with this guy? They've been housing 4 to 8 people a month, month after month, year after year. So now we're down to just a handful of what we call chronics, a diagnosis and more than a year out. Okay. Or we're seeing a lot of people who just they get to town, they're on hard times. Maybe their landlord stopped paying the mortgage, and now they're outside with their kids, stuff like that. So this place is this annual event. People can come and see. Up to 100 service providers will be there. Anything from IDs to bike repair to a bunch of different medical vendors, a bunch of housing agencies. The utilities will be there to help you.
National Grid,
National Grid.
Shoot, I need to go down there.
Yeah,
I
We're
gotta
working on getting
sign up for
also
National
people to
Grid.
connect with our developmental disability population. So we're working on getting People Inc., person-centered services, community services for the developmentally disabled is usually there. There's haircuts. There's people leave with clothing, shoes, toiletries, just some of the things that they need that you're not going to always encounter. And kind of going off of like what Will was saying in terms of our housing, it's really important to note that homelessness, and you kind of touched on it when you said what the guys you're working with at the mission, homelessness is no longer like a single guy who maybe has a mental illness or has a drug problem or has a drinking problem. We're now seeing more and more single parent households with children. And we're seeing a lot of 50, 55 and above. And the biggest reason is because of how high our rents are here in Buffalo, tied to a fixed income. So if you've got Grandma Betty who has $963 in SSI and that's all she's getting, and her landlord raised her rent from $650 everything included because times are hard and things are going up to $1,100. Well, she's already homeless.
Tapped out. Yeah.
By the time it's said and done, you're paying your utilities, your bills, groceries, and especially with the cuts to SNAP and to Medicaid, they already get such a small amount of food stamps because of their SSI. Now you cut it more, then they're on the street. And so our homeless shelters are being filled with people in wheelchairs, are being filled with people with colostomy bags, people who have various medical issues. I even had a guy who had dementia. And, how do you house a person who forgets where they're at all the time? How do you get to those things? So this event is also really, really great at connecting the workers to maybe these clients who we can't find for one reason or another. They don't have a phone. We can't locate where they've been. Maybe they were staying with family for a little bit, then they heard the event and now they're out. I think last year we connected, was like 30 people to services who didn't know that they had services. So this event really is a catch-all to not just service and build trust, but to help us as providers connect to the ones we're looking for. So they know they have that help.
That's awesome. Because there are so many different things that folks need, and it's not a one size fits all. And I've seen that again, like in my own observations, serving those brothers and working with them down at the mission. There was brothers who I'm like, man, did I go to school with him? Or some people I've been before, so I know what it means when you sitting there with a hoodie and no string and you ain't got no shoelaces. I mean, you just came home from jail. You just got out because they take all your strings and stuff, and you just came home and now you don't know where to go. And you probably my age or younger, and I'm like, dang, how did you end up here? Or then you see the brothers who are in the wheelchairs, and it's with the colostomy bags and those different issues, and it's I know the brother who just came home got certain things that they need. Then the brother that's in the wheelchair, he got certain things but they in the same place. So how are both of their needs getting met? Because they may be different and unique. And so you said that they're going to be bike and wheelchair repair.
Yep.
That's cool. I didn't even know that they did wheelchair repair, and I could only imagine an individual who is in a wheelchair needing a repair and not having the social or financial resources to get that done. So tell us a little bit about that and who was out fixing wheelchairs. Let's support them and celebrate them.
Sure. Go Bike usually comes every year. And a few years ago, I believe it was their first time at the event, somebody said, can you help me with my wheelchair? They're like, we have no idea what we're doing, but we'll try. And so they did that. And sometimes we'll if you take a pic of the logo on the wheelchair, you can find online used parts, and maybe a guy's wheels are dead. You can swap those out or something like that. And sometimes you can get other wheelchairs. Sometimes agencies provide them. There's a lot of agencies are involved in a kind of a private medical equipment lending library.
Right.
So you can call these guys up and maybe find what you need. And kind of going back to this event, and you mentioned trust, about 10 or so years ago, the homeless couldn't trust you. They couldn't.
Right.
It was not safe to accept help, because if
Right.
somebody gives you something, now they own you, and you don't know what they're going to ask for it. They used to hide from the workers, so we'd go find somebody, and they'd switch spots, because it wasn't a system so much as it was a series. It's a series of bandages for
Right.
different groups, and
Right.
hopefully you don't fall through the slot.
Yep.
But over the years, just by coming out with like the small items, like a bottle of water, a roll of toilet paper,
Yeah.
maybe some food, takes the trust to another level. In the last couple of years, the UB Med students have come out and done wound care, and that has taken it to a much higher level. So if somebody sees you working on a guy, just bandaging him, they feel that those people love the people. So
Yeah.
then they'll come and ask you for help on different things.
Right.
And maybe, like say a new worker comes along, there'll be a worker that they trust, and so we kind of roll together.
Yep.
So that this is my friend, she's legit, she can help you. Then
So
they'll
warm
accept housing
handoff.
from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's incredibly important.
Yeah.
And you're making me think, wow, like when I was working with youth in 4-H, we got a grant and they wanted to do a program or a documentary, as you can see from the cameras, about like to do videos and stuff. So they was like, and this is when I just started, so it was like my first like bigger project. And the young people wanted to do something where they gave back to the homeless. It was like the hidden homeless. There was like, we know that there's homeless people, but we don't see them. So like, what can we do to help them? And like, I can't believe that, like, I'm just now remembering this. So we use some of the grant money to put together like care packages, like toiletries, essentials, those snacks, those kinds of things. And we went out and we worked with, I want to give people their credit when it's due. I can't remember their names, but they were doing work in the community, some of the few trusted folks. And they brought us out there and they set up a few like interviews with some individuals who were willing to speak to us and talk with us. So we were able to give some of that stuff out. And it was just very fascinating to find that a lot of the workers were individuals who at some point in their time experienced homelessness.
Absolutely.
So they had that degree of empathy and lived experience where like it was much easier for clients to trust them. So talk a little bit about like the kind of personality that you have to have in order to engage with our folks who are living out on the streets.
You know, you just got to be real with them. They're people, you know, the literally, I tell people this all the time. The difference between me and somebody sitting across from my desk is some decision, some choice, some circumstance. And I could be them tomorrow. I could be them in 20 minutes. You never know what can happen. Especially, they're us.
Right.
We are who they are. And, you know, unfortunately, we live in a time currently where everything we say is political. So we have to be real about it. Like, we can't help the homeless if we're not giving them places to stay.
Right.
And so if we are criminalizing encampments, criminalizing, you know, sleeping outside, because for some that's the only option they have. And then we're also engaging in that NIMBYist mentality, that not in my backyard mentality, where we can't build a shelter somewhere because you don't want your kids around homeless people. Where do you think they're going to go?
Right.
We have to give them a place where they can call their own. Just like we have day programs for the disabled, just like we have senior citizen clubs, just like we have YMCAs and after school programs.
Correct.
If we had a drop-in center for the homeless where they knew they could go all the time, they wouldn't be at the library, they wouldn't be in your backyard, they wouldn't be at canal side, they wouldn't be sleeping in the parking spot that you wanted to take. They wouldn't be there if they had a place where they could relax, where they could play games, where they could watch TV, where they can take a shower, where they could wash their clothes, like some of the things, charge their phone. Like a lot of the stuff that we take for granted is the stuff that they experience on a very daily basis. And so just remembering that we're people, and also, you know, being real and honest with ourselves. Like, we've all seen, the panhandlers when you come on and off of certain expressways or exits, and you'll sit there like, oh, they got clean clothes. That they're not homeless. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, they probably have clean clothes because they stopped off at Friends of the Night and washed their clothes and shine up their shoes real quick because they also want to feel clean.
Yes.
They also want to feel good about themselves. Yes. It's kind of funny when we think about that double standard, like, oh, they're not dirty and they don't look grungy. Clearly they're not homeless. Right. God forbid somebody want to feel good about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. My mom used to always say, and she's open about like her struggles with like drug addiction and her being in recovery and stuff. And so she would jokingly say, like, I smoked crack, I wasn't a crackhead. And it was
social.
Yeah. So she was like, it would either be social or like by myself, but like I wasn't out like running the streets doing it. Because she used to always say, you ain't got to look like or act like what you is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what she was always. So she would just because I did something doesn't mean that like I'm going to be the image of what you think the person who does this looks like.
Right.
So I always appreciated that perspective because it let me know that like you don't know what a person got going on in their life.
Not at all.
So that individual could present clean, but like you don't know the backstory and everything it took for them to get there. They don't look like what they are in this moment.
100%. And I mean, going even further, we do see still, and I mean, Will has much more experience than I do when it comes to it. I'm a baby in the field, but like, there are those what we call chronics who have that mental health. Mm-hmm. And again, that trust. They don't trust the doctor. They're so sick and tired of just wanting to be medicated, and then they self-medicate. And then before you know it, that addiction becomes something that you need. Can you imagine like hearing voices and the only way you can do it is shooting up? Yeah. And then it quiets down.
Or like, just the PTSD of living outside.
Oh, yeah.
Unsafe.
Yeah. All day, every day, not knowing who's going to steal your stuff, who might beat you up for your stuff.
Oh, my God.
And now that we're seeing more and more sweeps of encampments, every time the police or whoever come and sweep through an encampment, that's somebody's documents that they're losing that they now have to get again. That's somebody's memories, livelihood. It's not just cleaning up. Yeah. Right. It's not just cleaning up garbage. You're literally putting those people back at zero. And who is going to help them when they don't have the access to look presentable enough to be helped?
Yeah, that's Will, please jump.
And so a lot of people think, well, they like it. They want to be like this. Nobody wants to.
No.
It's when you get trapped and you tell yourself that lie, it makes it a little acceptable. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, why would I want to be anywhere else? Like everybody wants plumbing. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants the safety of the door that locks. Everybody wants to be clean. Yep. There's some people that because of their mental health, the voices tell me I have to live outside under a bridge. But you can work with those guys. There's we bring along so in searching for the people outside, at one point we were bringing along an outreach worker who knew who everybody was, a homeless specialist who knew how to house people, and a medical worker. And we just roll up in teams on people. Hey, man, what do you need? And well, I got a wound. Okay, let's take care of that. Well, let's take care of let's take care of your housing or whatever. And just we're to the point where street homeless downtown. 250 people. If we had a place for 200 people, we could solve street homelessness in a week.
Wow. And that's interesting.
And it doesn't have to be nice.
Right. Yeah, it's just got to have shelter, plumbing, and be decent. And so I'm not sure if you know Felicia Cruz, but so
3 years,
so I've worked, and she was on the podcast too. So that's whose episode I'm going to put out around the time this gets out too. So be on the lookout for that one too. So whichever one you watch first, go back and watch the other one. So if you're watching this video after watching the one with Felicia, thank you. But if you watch the one with Felicia, thank you for clicking on this video.
Right.
Felicia plug, the woman who stood up when nobody else would.
Absolutely.
And endured the grief of trying to save everybody and make it better for people.
Yeah. I was there weekly helping out everyone, doing SPOA referrals, which are referrals for those with mental health to get access to housing, doing coordinated entry things so that way then we could get them on the list for housing, doing housing applications, doing welfare applications, helping this community and that's exactly how I'll say it, is this community.
Mhm.
These folks love on you in a way that you never been loved before, and that's because no one showed them that love back.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm gonna get all emotional. I get emotional all the time. You know, I took care of my grandparents both until they died, from the time I was like 12, 13 until God, I think my grandma died around age 20. Took care of them both to their dying breath. And so when I'm filling out a senior application for housing for this elderly person who has no family, no friends to speak of, can barely fill out the application because their hand is shaking and I have to fill it out for them, like, that's my honor. That's not my job. That's my honor.
Yeah.
Because my grandparents needed that help. And I come from a bilingual background on top of it. So my Spanish speaking grandparents who couldn't read an application, like, I don't do this because I want people to pat me on the back and be like, oh, Jen, you did a great job. I do this because my Spanish speaking grandparents needed somebody like me to do it.
It's in you, not on you.
And our people, our homeless population, those of our brothers and sisters suffering with whatever it is, they need people like us to remind people that it's cool if you don't want them in their backyard, right? But it also really sucks that you don't want to give them a place, period.
Yes. Two things. Well, a few things I want to talk about. So you brought up this term, and I want to circle back to it for our audience, people who may not know what the term NIMBY means. So not in my backyard is an acronym, but like, can you guys talk a little bit about, you said NIMBYism. So what's this idea and concept of NIMBYism, and how and why is it problematic for our community?
So the idea of not in my backyard is essentially something that may be, I'll say it's something that may be unappealing, that you feel might ruin the community that you're in.
Okay.
And I'll bring up a very good example. Recently, Family Promise was trying to open up a brand new family shelter in the east side of Buffalo.
Okay.
And the community came together and they said, no, we don't feel comfortable with this. We don't want this here. And it got shut down and no shelter was built there.
And they tried to explain in community meetings to make it palatable to the people, these are families from this neighborhood,
right?
Families, and they're going to be here, and it's not long-term housing, and the people still didn't want it,
right?
Or, it's going to bring this to my neighborhood. It's in your neighborhood already,
right?
Right.
The biggest concerns are usually like drug use, alcohol use. Those maybe with severe mental illness, who maybe talking to themselves or just don't appear right. I'll say. And a lot of the complaints were, well, my kids play here, my kids work here. Well, I mean, if we're looking at the east side and we're looking at housing stock, I can tell you that there's more abandoned buildings and vacant lots than anything in the world. So why wouldn't we want to open our community to that? But in that same breath, because it shouldn't always be on the Black community to solve these type of community issues, why could we not open something like this off of Hurdle in North Buffalo? Why couldn't we open a shelter in the west side? Because all of these communities feel the exact same way. We don't want bums. We don't want drug addicts. We don't want enter whatever negative expletive here in our area so our kids will see it and blah, 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 blah. However, they always say whatever's in the dark comes to the light. You really think this is going to stay under the rug forever? You really think homelessness is just going to disappear? Especially with the rents, especially with the things, like we have so many out of city landlords, so many landlords who come from other countries, don't speak the language,
just trying to drain,
cut corners to make money on the housing instead of really fixing it. We also have an epidemic of landlords who, I'm going to put all this money into this unit and I'm going to charge $1,500. Well, if that was your apartment or in your house and you needed to make those repairs anyway, let's be real, you'd be eating the cost. But because you're renting it, you're going to place that cost onto the person renting it. So that way then you can make your money back and then some.
Well, yes, I mean, it's your job, so you gotta take home your wage out of it. You got to pay your note. Then you've got damages happening to your property. So I get that, and so there's that. But all these services you talked about, the applications and whatnot, that's all happening at Project Homeless Connect.
Yes, which is happening when again?
The 19th.
The
10
19th
o'clock
was at
before doors open at 10, and free lunch.
Yes.
And
free lunch, haircuts, all kind of services.
So the people, and like, it's incredibly hard to get medical care if you're outside. Maybe you go to a clinic and you come in and you've got open wounds. They're like, oh my God, you got to go to the hospital. Well, the hospital doesn't want to see you because it's a chronic condition. It's not an emergency. You're bleeding, yeah, but, or maybe you sleep in the parking lot of the clinic to get to your appointment the next morning, and the maintenance guy comes out and says, we don't want your kind here, and kicks you out. Or maybe you need repeated visits for some condition, and you're not going to get a visiting nurse because you got no place for them to come to.
Yeah.
So there's all that. But and like we say, the people are us. There was one guy I knew for a long time, and he's since passed, but he was walking through the railway tunnel. Like when I started, there was a bunch of like pregnant girls living in the railway tunnels.
Okay.
And they're not there now, but we would go down there. Now you need a ladder, but we go down there, and my friend was a nurse to do, medical checks on them, and she would bring this pop-up embryo development book so that the moms would get excited about their kids. So anyway, this guy Dave, since passed, he was going through the tunnel one night, and the people begged us not to go there because it was unsafe. And he found a girl getting beaten by another girl, put a stop to the fight, picked her up, and carried her a mile to the fire department. That's the kind of people that they are. They're just like us. I mean, yeah, there's people get a hard time from, but they're loving, and they're at this point, we've got a community that people are in encampments for their own safety with their friends.
Yeah, I've seen those pop up more.
Yeah, so it used to be that everybody had to hide from everybody else because it wasn't a community like that, and people would be preyed upon or prey upon each other. There was a group of young men robbing the old homeless guys. What are you going to get?
Right.
Cigarette butts. What are you going to get?
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
But what we have now is like the homeless in this area, because we've done so much trust building after all these years, that the people will accept help. They're looking for help. They want a way out of what they got, and they care about each other. And when we showed up, they would train us. They're like, well, it sounds like you know what you're doing. There's a guy over here. He needs help.
Yeah.
Or like, don't come here because it's unsafe. Make an appointment to meet us at the library. Or just don't come down here.
The way they look out for our safety as workers, I can 100% speak to that, is crazy. The way that my guys look out for me, insane. My guys wouldn't let anything happen to me. They just wouldn't.
And that's good to hear, because again, in doing the small bit of work that I've been doing, I've kind of gotten that sense from like our small bingo community, because it's like the same guys who show up all the time. And like some of the workers that tell us like those guys never talk to each other except for bingo night, which is like cool, because like you got people who would never interact now interacting, and like that's how you build community. And so I'm curious though, because I've done a little bit of traveling, not a lot. And when I would travel, I would just notice, especially like in larger cities, like the homeless population was a lot more visible, present in affluent areas. I just remember, especially being in Times Square, being in Manhattan, being downtown San Francisco, just seeing, even though Memphis isn't like a bigger, but those are like the three cities out of some of the places where I've traveled where it was the most pronounced. And I remember thinking when I got back home, like kind of having a sense of like, well, my city doesn't have a homeless problem like that. Like I don't see this in my city. So like we're better than that. And then I started seeing it more and more, encampments popping up, rents going up, and I'm like, oh, this is a transition. Like I'm old enough to like not like I don't remember this. And when I used to like be on the bus or riding my bike or walking around, when I was actually on the streets before I got in the car, because when you're in the car, you're a little more isolated. I didn't really see it. But now that I'm in the car and I'm riding around, like I see it more. And I'm just like, what happened? And so in those other cities, I think they have a lot of anti-homeless infrastructure. the way some of the benches are made in parks and public spaces. You can't sit down, you can't be comfortable. I even seen it was the craziest thing in the world to me when I was in downtown San Francisco, like in front of like a lot of their stores after like 5-6 o'clock when things shut down. Like they had like what looked like spike strips that the police will roll out to like stop a car to blow the tires. They will put those in the doorways and the walkways because it's like that little cut-in was like that little bit of shelter. If it rained or something, or give you shade from the sun or something like that, people would sleep there. And it looked like a nice little spot to curl up if you ain't got, you know what I'm saying? And it's locked, it's closed. So ain't nobody walking over you and stuff. And just seeing like in front of Gucci, in front of Burberry, in front of some of these higher end stores, these spiked yellow metal strips that look like they're supposed to blow out car tires, and being like, wow, they would rather invest money in stuff like this to make homeless people uncomfortable and feel unwelcome, rather than take a building and put some beds in it with that same money. So just what are some of your thoughts, and do you think Buffalo may be moving towards some of that anti-homeless infrastructure?
Well, so Buffalo, a good thing, had the program to remove abandoned buildings, abandoned houses. So $20,000 per house, about $1 million budgeted a year over year. So getting rid of the blight, getting rid of the unsafe drug houses. There was a guy who used to build traps in the house and lure the prostitutes into them and take advantage of them. So those buildings are gone. There's like whole areas that they're just now yards and fields. So there's no place to retreat to. And some of the bridges, they've chained off the bridges so people can't get into them. That's where the bulk of the people were. Now there's no place to go.
They had put those like metal bars, rebar on the one
Cherry Street.
Yes, and on Seneca Street.
But now it's fencing because you could still kind of sleep in around the rebar. But so we've got newer homeless who don't know to be not visible, and
gotcha.
So and they've got no place to go. So Sunday nights downtown, I can find 70 people in 2 hours without really looking hard, and so and we've got like the end in Buffalo year over year, it's the same. Spring you got 80 people. Over the course of summer, you get up to about 250. First snowfall, people go into their friends' houses or their family, taking people they normally wouldn't. Drops down to about 75 or so. Over the course of winter, goes up to about 150 or two, then drops to 80 in the spring again. And it's just, it does that cycle. And really what we're just looking for is like what we've used is like a warehouse kind of building with, and there's money available to do that, but we can't pass code. We can't because nobody wants it in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we need some council people, some of our elected officials,
anyone
to take on this issue and champion this issue. I think that's another thing that we need to do as a community is put the pressure on the people who we elected to actually take care and serve as our most vulnerable people who may have had things happen to them outside of their power and control. And maybe they might have made a poor choice or two, and they're living with that. Doesn't mean that they do not deserve.
What choices you got?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
thank you.
Coming back to Project Homeless Connect, where all these people are going to get help.
September 19th.
Yep. And I'll hug you. We'll talk.
Absolutely.
The workers, I get to work with my heroes. I get to see people who love people they haven't met yet. And people do extraordinary things. One guy went missing. A friend of ours, she went to Jamestown because she heard he had family there, searched all over for that last name, found the guy's brother, and got his backstory. They keep hearing stuff like that.
Yeah. Went in the Code Blue shelter. We had a guy.
I was just gonna ask y'all about. It's about to be winter soon, so
yeah. So I mean, a good plug for Code Blue. We're currently in the process of trying to find our lead agency. Every year, the city puts out an RFP, a request for funding, and an agency has to apply for that. and then we can service people. In the wintertime, especially last winter, we were servicing like $2 to $2.50 a night. It has led to, if I remember what Nadia was saying earlier in our meeting.
Nadia was all right.
Yes,
Yeah.
zero deaths in the winter because of this.
Two guys in 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Yeah. So, and all of the things that we advocate for and that we're talking about and that we're saying, like work, like shelters, like transitional housing, like rapid rehousing. These are things that are backed by data. These are things that are proven to save money if cities, counties, states invest in homeless services. If they invested even, $100,000 into rapid rehousing, on average, I'm spending $15,000 a year to keep somebody housed permanently for an entire year.
And to that, we live in a capitalist society. So if you are somebody who has properties and buildings available in the community, and there appears to be government dollars available for that, that sounds like an opportunity to do multiple things. You want to feed multiple birds with one seed. Absolutely. So this is an opportunity for you to help yourself and also help others.
Yeah.
So if you got a building that you don't know what to do with, fix it up, get it to code, and then link with these agencies, and then some of that government money that they're gonna have to spend on housing people anyways will end up with you.
We're always looking for spaces for Code Blue. We're trying to find spaces for what eventually will turn into Code Red, which is when it's too hot in the summertime.
Yeah,
we'll
we had a hot
stations.
summer too.
Oh yeah, so we'll have cooling stations. There are other agencies. St. Luke's is doing great stuff. City Mission, Friends of the Night. Who else? Little Portions. Like there are agencies that are already doing a lot of the work. There's so much more, and there's so many different things that can continue for us to do that work. And, going back just a smidgen when we were talking about like the options that people have, you also have to think, while we're seeing a little bit more of like the criminalization of homelessness already on the books in Buffalo, there are laws that make it criminal to be homeless. If a person is found sleeping in the street and the police decide they want to arrest them, that's 10 days in jail and or a $1,500 fine.
Wow.
And that's for every instance that they're caught. It doesn't just like,
I'm gonna pay you $1,500, bro. You trying to keep me in jail.
That same guy that carried that girl to safety, back then, the only thing he could do was break a window, catch a charge, and be inside the jail for a month in February.
And what's interesting, and I said this like jokingly when I was a kid to my uncle. He had an issue where he was being unsafe. Now I'm gonna just say he was being unsafe for others. And he thought that he could come to my house. He called my mom, his sister, and my mom had already knew the backstory and was like, I can't allow you to come here because you've been being unsafe and violent. And I might have been 11 or 12. And I remember like him saying, well, what am I supposed to do? And I just, in my overly simplified 12-year-old, 11-year-old mind, I said, well, just go to the store and steal a candy bar and wait for the cops to come get you. You get 3 hots and a cot.
Right.
My uncle ended up going to jail that night. He had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
He had nowhere else to go. And like in my simplified, like that was like almost 20 some odd years ago, just thinking about like, wow, like even as a kid, I instantly would have thought like, okay, I'm homeless, it's cold, I got to steal something to go to jail because I need shelter.
And what's going on now, the NFTA police have always been sweethearts.
Okay.
They actually pay half of a social worker wage to have a social worker at the bus station.
Wow.
They made 2 offices and encourage agencies.
The one downtown, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so recently we started discussions with the city last year.
Yes.
And it's like, what are we going to do? Like we don't have anything code. But this year we're meeting again a couple times with Central Services, B District, community policing, the NFTA police all together, and we're working on because they don't want to arrest anybody. They don't want to arrest anybody because they got no place to go. They don't want to arrest anybody because they don't have anything to eat. They don't want to get an officer hurt by fighting a guy for those reasons. So, what can we do together? And so, we're going to be we're working on a program where I don't want to spill the guts out of it, but the patrol officers will be able to let the outreach workers know where to go and search.
that way then we
Instead
can
of locking
prevent it.
them up.
So right
Absolutely.
now the people got to play the game. Okay, you can't stay here. Okay, so they cross the street for the night. So you got 15 people now on across the street, and because the cops, they can't ignore a call, they have to respond.
Right.
But they got compassion, they got hearts,
Yeah.
and so right now you've got groups of people kind of like moving around every couple of nights, and
Nomadics, which is
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
traumatic.
All of
yeah,
it.
it's like,
Homelessness is the most
where am I
traumatic thing
supposed to go? Or they can. The only bathroom open downtown at night is the bus station. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and you don't want to catch a. Do you get charges if you urinate in public in New York State?
I think so.
I would imagine.
I think so. I don't know though.
Because I know
Don't
in
quote
some
me.
states, don't quote me on this, but I do know in some states, like they charge you as like a sex offender if you urinate
Real
in
thing.
public. I'm not sure if New York State is one of those states. If you get in the comments, you can tell me.
Right.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But like I do know that like there are things like that. I mean, I learned that, and I don't know, so I don't play that either.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hit a McDonald's or Gatorade bottle or something because I can't risk that. But like, what if an individual doesn't know that?
And not only that, again, like bringing it all the way back to, if you're newer to homelessness and you don't know where to hide and all those other things, like, trust me, the homeless don't want to see you as much as you don't want to see them. And more so just because of judgment than anything else in this world. You don't know anybody's story. And that's why, like, Project Homeless Connect is such an amazing event because then...
And where's it going to be at again?
The Buffalo Convention Center. I don't think we said that.
I think you said it
maybe
once.
You said it?
Said it
yeah, so it's at the Buffalo Convention Center.
Downtown.
September 19th from 10 to 4.
The city's fronting the rent for that.
Yes.
Ooh.
Every year.
Yep. We've got a lot of new partners this year. The Buffalo Bills are now partnering with us, which is great.
Go
Shout
Bills.
out to the Buffalo Bills. We've got National Grid, National Fuel always does stuff with us.
Yeah.
Mighty Fine Cuts, my man Ken Cologne, he's always...
Oh my God.
Ken is always helping.
Yeah.
Ken is always cutting hair.
Yeah.
A lot of really great agencies, Gerard Place, Matt Urban, Buffalo Urban League, Salvation Army will be there. There's Best Self will be there. Horizon will be there. Spectrum will be there. Wow. It really is an opportunity for everybody to be serviced, to see people. I thought there was a story last year where like somebody didn't know that their brother had been back in town and he or she was homeless as well. And they like reconnected. It was like a reconnection of a family thing. Like miracles happen at Project Homeless Connect in so many beautiful and amazing ways. We also, I forgot this, we also will provide transportation to those who can't get to them. I'm your transportation girl.
Say it again.
I'm the one who will be organizing rides, making sure you get down to where you got to get to.
And how can they contact you for those rides?
So if you go to phcbuffalo.org, that's our website, all of our information about where you can, text to get a ride, about opening day events, if you still want to sign up to be a vendor, sign up to volunteer, all of that stuff is on the website. As of next week, we're going to be passing out what we call golden tickets. We're going to go to all of the shelters and all of the hotels and all of the places where we know our homeless definitely are and pass them out. There's a rumor, Stacey would like me to say, there's a rumor that the first 200 people in may get some authentic Bills gear from the Bills themselves. Wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. And, the other part of it too, because we didn't talk a lot about it, we see so much of the adult homelessness, but we got to remember that there's kids involved too.
Absolutely.
Which is why we're trying
teenagers.
to make this event such a family-friendly event. Because when you're a kid, you just know that you're at the hotel or then you're at this shelter or that shelter. And the trauma that goes into, having to miss school because you don't have a spot, and then having to wait for McKinney-Vento to pick up and all those things. Salvation Army has a family shelter, and we see it all the time. Just transferring from the shelter to where it is you're living and how long it takes to get back on the bus and all of those things. The shame sometimes when you're older, knowing that you're going home to a homeless shelter and you're not going home to home, so you can't bring your friends.
I'm being unable to like wash your clothes and stuff like that.
And most shelters in the city of Buffalo are what we call high barrier, meaning like there's a lot of rules that you have to follow to stay there. So most shelters don't allow you to bring in outside food. So you have to eat what it is that they cook, or you have to go out and eat, and you're not allowed to bring that back in. Right. So I'm a big advocate for the developmental disabilities community. My son is deafblind and autistic. Okay. So imagine having a child with autism or sensory processing disorder or some sort of sensory need, and they're picky eaters because of all these sensory things, and they have to eat what the shelter gives. You can't even bring in that stuff to try to help them. Or you got a kid who's got oppositional defiance disorder or some sort of a developmental delay, and you have staff who isn't properly educated on how to de-escalate those situations, work with those parents.
At Gateway, and that's where a lot of our kids end up at. And I was wondering, like, where's your family? And like, their family will be in shelters. I don't have transportation. Now they doing 6 to 9 months in Gateway all the way out in Williamsville, and they ain't got nobody, no phone calls, no home visits, and now they just crashing out and extending. And I'm like, you want to stay here, or you afraid to go back out there? Yeah. But like some of those kids, when I sat down and had those one-to-ones with them at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you hear their stories, and it will be like, I wouldn't even want to go home if I was you, or there is no home for you to go to. And that's why you 16 in here running amok, because you got safety and a shower and clean clothes, and us coming in here making jokes and playing games with y'all and playing basketball and taking you outside and stuff like that. Like, if I was you, I wouldn't want to go home either.
And newsflash, those kids who are homeless will eventually, hopefully not, but the statistics show they do grow up to become homeless
because
adults.
That's what they're learning. They're learning that game. They're learning that system.
It's the same ideology of the school to prison pipeline. It's the same. I like to tell people homelessness I liken to incarceration. We see a lot of recidivism when you've got a guy who's been locked up 10, 15, 20 years. Why? Because he comes out here and he doesn't even know what to do with. Right. And so when you're homeless, kind of going back to that idea Will brought up of how people think you choose this. Yeah. I mean, the devil you know is better than the one you don't. Amen. If you've never experienced safety, if you've never experienced a stable household, if you've never paid a bill before, right, because you were a child who was homeless and then you became an adult who's homeless, if you've never had gas or electric in your name, like all of that responsibility all at once, like it's crazy.
I'm overwhelmed by it right now. And I'm 34 years old. Everything you just said, I'm overwhelmed.
We're doing it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
This is just a short amount of talk, and there's more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can only imagine. So again, September 19th, Buffalo Convention Center,
10 to 4.
10 to 4. Yes. Transportation is available. And also, if you're still out and about and you still got some more energy, the Buffalo Center for Health Equity, we're having a community day, September 19th, from 5 to 8.
I'll be there.
At Martin Luther King Park.
I'll be there.
So, boom. Absolutely. So we looking forward to having folks. It's a whole day. It's a Friday. It's a great Friday. It's gonna be a beautiful day. I ain't checked the weather, but we're hoping I'm just claiming it. Day. The ancestors in the universe is gonna work this out for us. Exactly. They're gonna work this out for us because we doing good work, and so they're gonna work with us. And it's gonna be a wonderful day. So 10 to 4, it's a full day for you. 10 to 4, down at the convention center. Hang out there, get your services, get everything that you need in order. Start that process. And then if you want to come have a good time, get some more services, get some more food, connect with people, because everything that we're doing is going to be free and it's going to be food. You come join us at Martin Luther King Park from 5 to 8, and we're going to keep kicking it there for our Buffalo Center for Health Equity Community Day.
Absolutely.
So before I get y'all out of here, we talked a lot about the work that you do. And it's really in service to others, and it's a privilege to serve. Anytime I've had the privilege and honor of working in the service capacity, especially when I know, I used to always joke with my friends, back when I was being cheap and didn't have health insurance because I didn't want to pay for it. They be like, you trying to come hoop? And I'd be like, bro, I can't come play basketball with y'all. Like, why? If I sprain my ankle, I'll be homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I like, in all seriousness, bro. Like, I can't even get confrontational with somebody because what if they break my jaw? I'm so passive. I'm so peaceful now because I can't afford to be confrontational.
Fact.
I can't afford to go out and do nothing because I'm well aware that a medical bill will bankrupt me.
Mm-hmm.
And so just in keeping with that, what is it in doing this work of service of others? What is it that you need, Jeni and Will, to sustain yourself? What is it that your colleagues, your battle buddies, your comrades that are out here doing this work, how can we sustain y'all as a community? Because my biggest fear, my biggest worry is that we go so hard, we burn ourselves out, and we have not provided an opportunity or trained our replacements to then assume those roles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ball gets dropped, the work doesn't get done anymore because we're human too. And so how do you guys sustain and maintain self-care now? But what else do you and your peers need to continue doing this work?
I mean, I guess I'll say in terms of like what we as a community of workers and things need. If you feel a call, if you have ever flirted with the idea of wanting to help people, just do it. Just jump right in. Just do it. There's always going to be somebody willing to help you. There's always going to be somebody who wants to show you the ropes. There's someone who's going to believe that knowledge is power and who's going to train you and help you do those things. Will has been one of my greatest teachers. Felicia has been one of my greatest teachers. Nadia has been one of my greatest teachers.
Yes.
You know, aside from life being one of my greatest teachers.
Amen.
They've really been the ones to kind of hear my frustrations and my wanting to put on my red cape and fly out and save the world. To remember to breathe, to remember to care for myself. So we need more people who just want to help and do things. We also need donations.
Amen.
And I have no shame in looking dead at you right there and saying, if you have some sort of money, if you are, I don't know, Russell Salvatore, or
do bingo for the guys,
or if you work
business,
at some company, if you are some entrepreneur who wants to help, I mean,
don't even wait for that.
Yeah, don't.
You
just
got a bottle of water, go give it to it.
Exactly. Like, just
come out here,
someone.
even if you're not interested. Come out here and wait till just keep coming till your heart gets broken.
Yeah,
I've had like 9.
Say that again.
Come until your heart gets broken. I've had 9-year-old girls beg a woman to accept help for like an hour. Some 9-year-old little girl who's safe because they're missing family. She comes out and she begs this woman who never would have accepted help to accept help. That we took that woman to a shelter. The shelter said, we don't got a room, but you can sleep on our couch. And she takes the little girl by the hand and says, come on, you can see where I'm going to sleep tonight.
Yeah. The heart is what we need more than anything.
Or we used to do a little meal, and the guys would just stand in the doorway of the kitchen and just watch ladies cook because they're missing family.
Yeah, make you feel like you're back at home.
So, and frankly, for me, people are living outside and I'm not having it. So, self-care, we're all terrible at it.
Yes.
And our families are kind of generally accepting by this point, and you're going to burn out over and over again. And just, you got to check yourself, you got to watch yourself to make sure that you're not someone, you haven't slipped into someone that when somebody's coming for aid, you don't give them grief.
Yeah.
That you don't make it painful for somebody to ask for help. And so there's like if you need time by yourself, you need time by yourself, but you got to get back in the fight. This is a fight.
100%. This is
people are living outside. People are dying outside. We check to know where everybody is in case there's a weather event, so that nobody has to die out here. Sometimes we're just keeping you alive, keeping your hopes up until you can get housed. You wind up on the list, and then an agency picks you up and you get housed. So at this point in our community, the people feel loved. We show up, everybody calms down, nobody fights. And people just ask us, could you come out and stand with us so that we can do our work with the people and so that it can happen?
Yeah.
Like, they just want me to hang out. Like, well, go.
Your
Yeah,
presence,
that's
your
it.
presence, yeah, your
Yeah.
Really and
presence
truly,
is a
because
gift.
Because it's
that
like
community is
those
so
people
important.
love us.
Yeah.
We know, and it makes everything okay
Yeah.
for a minute.
Now I feel you, because it's certain, like, I, I when we have family gatherings, I have folks call, "Are you and your mom coming?" And I be like, "I don't think we're gonna make this one." But well, I ain't going. Then be like, "Wait, you can still go. It's gonna be my mom ain't gonna." Nah, you and your mom, y'all funny, y'all the party. Like, but it's like, if you see a certain person, I'm safe. If I see a certain person, I'm gonna have a good time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's those things. Once I see you, you don't even gotta say nothing, do nothing. The fact that I see you, your aura, your energy, your light that shines through you, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And at its base, I mean, again, going off of what Will said, at its base, if you want to help, just be nice. If somebody asks you for money, don't tell them to F off. Don't curse at them. Just be like, nah, I ain't got it today. Sorry, man. And keep it pushing. That little bit of kindness goes a long way. And then, on the macro level, after Project Homeless Connect, we're not done. Code Blue is coming up. Code Blue kicks off November 15th. Okay. And, we are still in need of cots, of laundry facilities, of showering things, hygiene products, all of those things to keep our people safe and warm.
Some dignity.
And with dignity during the wintertime, and we have great community partners. National Fuel's been helping us forever. The bills are new this year for our Cold Blue Collaborative. Colvin Cleaners is always giving jackets to our people.
So Project Homeless Connect is just an event, but it's held by the Western New York Coalition for the Homeless. Jinx. So that's 100 agencies working together, and private people working together year round. And this is just one thing that they do.
It's like our kickoff event.
It's huge. It's expensive. Like a couple hundred people going to be there at least. And then we move on to the next thing. And then we move on to the next thing. And then we move on to the next thing. So that, if I see a guy out there and I don't do nothing about it, that any homeless person is like my moral failure. And when somebody dies outside, we all take it personal.
All of us.
We failed.
Yeah.
So
100%.
That's that. When I work with young people as a social worker, and when just things wouldn't go their way, or life happens, or maybe I was trying to push them along to a place where I wanted them to be, and they wasn't ready to be in that place. And things don't go the way we planned, I would be like, but I'm so good at this. But I'm the best social worker there is. Ain't nobody helping these kids. I'm helping these kids. Why I couldn't help them?
I promise
and I'm
you.
sad and I'm depressed because it didn't work out. And it took experience and maturity for me to be like, you rushed that process. You thought you were the greatest. You thought you was the GOAT, and you tried to rush this process. You were the
step in their life.
Yeah.
And like everybody gets the assist, but not everybody gets the goal.
There we go.
And that moment of kindness, and what you can do one time, that moment of kindness.
Switch to the other game.
Then it, you don't know what that's going to do to a person, and maybe they'll accept help later on down the road.
Yeah. Switch to me. Or who's ever talking. There you go, nephew. Yeah. We apologize for those technical difficulties back there. I got my nephew working the switcher for the first time. We exhausted one of our batteries with this great conversation that we're having. So I think that's a great segue for me to ask y'all, is there anything else left that y'all want to share that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you briefly want to talk about? And where can they find y'all at, again, on social media?
I think in terms of Project Homeless Connect and Cold Blue, we've covered everything. But, you can go to all of the websites. I believe our website is wnyhomeless.org for our coalition websites. Project Homeless Connect, phcbuffalo.org. There's an Instagram, there's a Facebook. The Homeless Alliance of Western New York, that is who governs our COC, our continuum of care. They are the ones who fight HUD for our dollars and who help us continue in our advocacy. Honey, I want to say that's Hawny, HAWNY.org, but I could be wrong. Please don't quote me. I should know it, but just Google it. Homeless Alliance of Western New York.
A lot going on.
Yeah, there's tons of
WNY Homeless Alliance.
Okay, WNY Homeless Alliance. Either way, you can still Google us and find us that way. Come to our events. Come to our meetings. Yeah. We have meetings every second Wednesday for Coalition. Is it second or third? I think it's second Wednesday is our our general meeting. So anyone can come. That's down at Neighborhood Legal Services. And we talk with all of our committees. It's not just advocacy and Project Homeless Connect and Code Blue. We have an LGBTQ committee. We have an education committee. We have an outreach committee. They're the ones who are on the ground, like Will, and they're meeting these people. So there's tons of ways to get involved, stay up with all of the things that we're doing to try to advocate and fight for what's happening, again, especially in this climate where, you know, the proposed budget was to cut almost 50% of homeless services. It would have completely gutted all of the good work that we're doing. But now we're facing other things that are coming up, and we've got an active lawsuit happening at the national level now because of some stuff that the Housing and Urban Development kind of switched up last minute that directly affects affordable housing builds right here in Western New York.
$6 million.
Seven. Actually,
Seven.
they promised $7 million and then they revoked it, and then they wrote a brand new grant and said, oh, you can only have this money if you agree to the following things. And it's very much against all of our data-driven practice. It's very much against all of the things that we know work. It's against harm reduction. It's against, you know, a person's ability to identify as who they are and claim their truth, against immigrants who deserve housing, no matter how you feel about that. Rights are rights are rights. Housing and being able to live is a human right. There should be no debate about that. There should be nothing political about that. Human rights, human life, that is it, period. So, you know, love your neighbor. Find us on all the socials that I just gave.
Anything you want to add, Will?
Yeah, if it's happening to you, make yourself known to the workers.
Ooh,
there are people, you won't see it, but there are people that are talking about you personally, constantly. How can we help you, this particular guy? So I saw a guy today. I'm gonna go talk to a guy about. I'll talk to other people about him. I go, hey, I saw this guy. Who's taking care of him? And then we get the chance to advocate for you. And so don't be afraid to accept help. Don't be afraid to seek help.
Not at all.
Yes, I really appreciate y'all time. I really appreciate y'all coming in for this conversation, and we put this together really quickly because I wanted to make sure that we got this out in time to promote for the event. Was it Project Homeless Connect?
Yeah.
Which will be September 19th at the Buffalo Convention Center downtown from 10 to 4. There will be tremendous amounts of vendors there, folks who can help you get services, utility folks. So if you got some internal needs and you need to get yourself checked out, some external needs where you want to get freshened up, or you got some business needs that you need to handle, there's going to be a lot of different agencies there. My advice to you is just pop up, see what they got to offer. And then if you still got some energy left, you're still a little hungry, and you want to come hang out with us at Martin Luther King Park from 5 to 8, you are more than welcome to come do that. But yeah, so also, shameless plug, we have our Igniting Hope Conference, which will be September 20th, the day after, at the Jacobs School of Medicine. So that's an all-day event. It'll be going from about 8 to 4. That's also free to attend. Just please register, and we will feed folks there. And we have the goal in mind to put together a strategic plan, and we have 5 different pillars. Don't get mad at me, Pastor George, because I don't remember all 5 of them off the top of my head, but I know one of the primary pillars that we're talking about is homelessness and housing and access to equitable and affordable housing in our community. So it's only appropriate that we have you guys on the platform, because the Buffalo Center for Health Equity champions and supports the work that you guys are doing. And if you have time and want to attend to be part of the strategic plan that we're putting together on September 20th, please feel free to register and attend. But with that said, for myself, for my homegirl Jenny, for my man Will here, who's out here putting boots to the ground, doing work, helping the homeless, helping folks get housed, helping folks establish their sense of dignity, reconnecting families, keeping folks alive, doing code blue, code red, doing everything, but not getting the credit and the flowers that they deserve. I want to give you guys your credit. I want to celebrate what you guys are doing. I want to promote what you guys are doing, champion the work. and encourage people to get out there and support y'all. So, in the words of my hero, the honorable late great Jerry Springer, I want you all to take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Love that.
Thank you.